Hi, everybody. Thanks for getting on this webinar. This is eLearning Brothers, how to get the most out of your template library. Before I go any further, let me make sure, can everybody see my screen and hear me? Now, all of you are muted, so if you will please answer me in the questions section. But you should be looking at eLearningBrothers.com. Right now there's kind of a pastel explosion with some different course starters on there. Can everybody see my screen and hear me? Okay, perfect. Looks like all of you can. Again, this is eLearning Brothers, how to get the most out of your library subscription. Before we get started, let me give you a brief background about eLearning Brothers. And actually, before I do that, let me launch a poll. So as I'm waiting for answers, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and where we've come from. Let's see. Okay, so let me launch this poll. It's, are you currently using an eLearning Brothers product? And if so, what is it? A little bit about eLearning Brothers. We've been in the e-learning industry for over 5 years now, and it's been a fantastic ride. As you can see on the screen, we recently were listed on the Inc. 500 list as number 331 of the fastest growing companies. We have really two halves of the company. There's the template side, which is what we're going to talk about today, creating templates for all different e-learning software, as well as we do have a custom development side that's an award-winning team that can take your idea from concept to completion or really anything in between. So as we are discussing these things, I'll mention them every once in a while. And just a reminder, if you are saying to yourself, man, I love what I'm seeing here, we need better e-learning. However, we just don't have the time or the manpower or anything like that, let us know. Our custom team would love to be able to help you out, or at least give you a quote on what we can do on that. Okay, it looks like we're still waiting for some people to answer the poll. And I'll just go ahead and start moving on. It looks like the majority of you have a paid template library. Some of you are free, and that's just fine. We're going to go through this webinar as though everyone has a paid membership. So those of you who have a free account or don't have an account with us yet can kind of see behind the curtain and see what's going on. So let me close this poll out so that you can see what's going on again. Okay, excellent. Also, just a reminder, I can't hear you. So if you do have a question, please type it in the questions section. If I don't get to it right away, it's just because I haven't glanced over there yet. Know that I'm not ignoring you, and I will be kind of pausing throughout this to ask for questions. So let's go ahead and get started. Also, everything that I show you here, there are more than one way to do it. I'm just going to show you the way that works for me, but I invite you to really click around and get to know the library. Even if you have a free account, you can go beyond just the free section. You can surf anything. You just won't be able to download it. But take a look at our entire library. We have over 30,000 assets that are available for download. So first of all, I'm at eLearningBrothers.com. Let me go to members, member login, type in my credentials here. Whoops. And here we go to the product subscription dashboard. Now, a lot of people just breeze over this, but I think there's some important things to touch base here as we're looking at this. One of the whole reasons why people get associated with eLearning Brothers is to save time and increase the production quality of their e-learning courses. And there are some great time-saving tools here in the dashboard. So first of all, under the dashboard, this is where I can launch the different products that we have that you've subscribed to. But before we do that, let me go to accounts and show you that every account, every standard account in eLearning Brothers is set up as a master account, which means you can have sub-accounts beneath you. So let's say that I'm a project manager and I have 4 people on my team. Well, actually, let's start out with 2. I've got 2 people on my team. you can see that Frank and Joe are both developers on my team. So I have a lot of different subscriptions here and licenses, and Frank has none and Joe has none also. They just got hired on. So as I have these master accounts, I can say, you know what? I don't need access to the template library. I'm just a project manager. I'm not going to be getting in there and building things. So I remove that. I have 12 seats left here because it was a 12 user 1-year license. And I can assign that to Frank. And the same thing here. I've got 9 seats left on that license. So I'm going to assign that to Joe. I hit save, and now Frank and Joe have access. But one thing that makes this really advantageous is it turns out that Joe is kind of a deadbeat. He never shows up for work on time. So Joe gets let go, no problem. Go in there. Sorry, it didn't work out, Joe. Let me save. And now Sally gets hired. And Sally's got this email address. I get to make her password for her, add sub-account, and there's Sally. So Sally, notice by default, doesn't have any active licenses. Just a reminder about that. When you add a sub-account, it doesn't automatically make it. So Sally she gets full access to the library, save data. Now Sally's in. So you can see that as people are moving around or as your team expands, it's very easy to manage licenses. Now let's say that my 2-person team now becomes a 5-person team because Sally's so fantastic that business is booming now. So I go to subscriptions, and I need to add more subscriptions because I need more seats. So I choose my plan. We're hiring 3 more people. We're going to do a 2-year plan to save some money there. We want the full access. And I click continue, enter in my info, and now I have more licenses for the people that are part of my team. So that's accounts and subscriptions. Now with the template library, there's some great tools in here. First of all, downloads. This is a history of all the files that you've downloaded. So if there's that one, I downloaded a SCORM package a couple weeks ago. I can't remember where it is on my computer. No problem. Or maybe I formatted my computer, I was on a flash drive, whatever the reason is. Here's a history of it, so I can just jump in here and download it. Same idea with searches here. If I click on this is a history of all the searches that I've performed. And if I click on the files, 32 files, these are the files that came up in that search. So you get the idea there. And then finally, collections. This is a really neat tool. Collections is just like a Lightroom, or different sites call it different things, but basically a way to collect photos as you are building your courses. So let's say that right now on my plate, my team is building a new employee training, a forklift safety course, and an Algebra 2 course for some students that we've got going on. So if I log into the template library, and right now I'm looking for people for Algebra 2, and I say, okay, I'm going to be in my cutout people, casual images. I'm looking for an Algebra 2 teacher. And let's see, George looks like a great Algebra 2 teacher. So I'm clicking around him, but then I say, oh, you know what? George would also be fantastic for my forklift safety. And actually that specific picture right there. So I can click on this briefcase. I can either create a new collection right there, or I can say, I want to add him to forklift so that I remember that. Now that suitcase is highlighted. So if I go and click on forklift now, there's George and a couple other people I've put in there. So you get the idea of, and then, so from there I can click on George and download him right there. So that's how collections work. Great time-saving tool. Of course, in profile, you have your standard stuff, change your first name, last name, email address, all of those things, and then log out. So that's the dashboard. Any questions on the dashboard before I move forward? Okay, perfect. Doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So here's what I'd like to do. Instead of just saying, here's this section and here's what's in it, here's this section, here's what's in it, let's build a hypothetical course right now. So if somebody out there wants to tell me, give me a topic or a course that you're currently building, or just something hypothetical that you'd like to build here in Pretend Land. While you do that, I'm going to launch the template library. One thing I like to do when I'm launching the template library, again, just go ahead and put those in the questions field, since I can't hear you if you're just joining me, is when you click on the launch the template library, right here is the newest uploads. So it just kind of shows you all the neat stuff that we're uploading. All right, I'm not getting any suggestions yet on a course topic, and if I have to pick one, I guarantee it'll probably be pretty boring. So last chance. Oh, Cindy's answering the call. Cindy says, I create courses for students studying to take pharmacy technician national exam. Holy smokes, Cindy. That's a pretty heavy topic. All right, perfect. Let's build Cindy a good course so that pharmacy techs aren't giving us the wrong medication. So we want to build this. Cindy's boss walks in and says, Cindy, you've got 3 weeks to build a course. And she's saying, holy cow, I can't, that's crazy. She opens it up. Also, someone give me a piece of software that you use, please. Are you Storyline people or Captivate people? What are you dealing with? Storyline. Okay, perfect. It looks like Alex has got his hand up. Alex, again, just so you know, I don't have, everybody's muted, so I can't hear you. So if you have a question, just feel free to type it in the questions. Oh, Alex says Storyline too. Okay, perfect. So we'll stick with Storyline, a course for pharmacy techs built in Storyline. So what I'm going to do is, instead of, I open up Storyline and I just have a blank white stage that I'm looking at. I think, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? Maybe my strength is in developing Storyline but not in design, or maybe my strength is in design but not developing. That's no problem. Let's first choose a layout. Let's get rid of that huge blank screen, and I want my Storyline layouts. And for a pharmacy tech, let's do something a little bit wild and crazy. Pop banner style. Nothing says wild and crazy like pop banner style. So you can see a couple things. First of all, we're giving you all these different layouts and all these things that you can manipulate to build this course. So your entire course will have a similar look and feel because we're giving you all of these screens. You'll see over 100 different content slide layouts. So you can change these. Something else that I love is you'll notice you are downloading a .story template file. These are designed right in Storyline, and we're giving you the source files. Just so you know, I'm going to say that ad nauseum through this course because I really want you to understand that, and I think it's a very important piece of your eLearning Brothers subscription. We are giving you the source files. So if you say, you know what, this yellow banner, I like that idea, except that our company's color is blue or is green. No problem. Just go in there and change this color. Or I want to change the font or whatever. So you've got this layout. It's a great foundation, but you say, I don't like these squares. It's not doing it for me. That's all right. Go to Stock Assets. And under Graphics, let's look at Background Textures. And for pharmacy techs, we're going to go Nuclear. So I can download that in all the different flavors here, PowerPoint, PNG, we even give it to you in Flash. So you can take this in, you can take it as is and put it in Storyline and adjust it that way, adjust the background. Or you can take it into Photoshop or whatever you want, add your logo, change the colors, change the opacity, do whatever you want to do, and add that and completely customize now your layout for Storyline. So we've got the layout, we've tweaked it a little bit and made it our own. Now let's find a host. Let's find a host for this person or for this course. And we can go to medical. And I'm going to say, let's have, actually all these people aren't, we want someone, this is going to be our pharmacy tech. Jen is going to be our pharmacy tech. So you'll notice a couple things about our people cutouts. First of all, there are a lot of different poses that Jen is in. The reason why we do this is so that there is enough depth here that Jin can host your entire course without your learner seeing the same 3 pictures of Jin over and over and over again. So maybe they answered a question incorrectly, and he's saying, "You sure about that? You might want to try that again." Or they answer something right, they get kind of a great job there, or maybe that's an angry customer walking in. Who knows? So you're getting the idea here. There's a lot of depth that you can get. Now, something else I want to show you about as we're choosing a host. Some of our cutout people are video cutouts. So what that is let's take a look at Amy. Maybe we decided to choose Amy. Now, some of the video cutouts are right at the front. Some of them are at the back. So if you don't see them right at the front, go to the last page. But these are actual cutouts. So when one of your students answers a question correctly, instead of just a static image of Amy giving them a thumbs up or something, Amy can actually fade in as soon as it buffers here. Gives them a little good job dance, and that's completely editable. So the whole idea is your learners now just see something that they weren't expecting. Instead of leaning back in their chair and just clicking the next button over and over and over again, they're saying, "Oh wow, there's something to this course. I'm more engaged. I want to learn what's going on, and I want to see what they're going to do on the next slide." You'll notice that these videos come with 2 flavors, Flash and MP4. Now the MP4 will have this white background around it because it doesn't support an alpha channel. However, the Flash does support an alpha, so she will have a transparent background. So you can put her on top of anything. So if you're not worried about going mobile, you're not worried about iOS, then you can do the Flash background and have her stand on top of anything. Pretty neat with the video cutout people. Okay, so we've chosen our layout. We've made it our own. We've chosen a host out of our extensive cutout people library, and maybe we've put some. Let's now train your people. Let's teach them some information, and let's do that by doing some interactions. I want to do storyline interactions, and here we go. That's a perfect one. So take a look at that. Again, I want to point out that it's a .story template file. These are your source files. So if you're saying, look, this doesn't quite fit the layout that I downloaded, that's okay. You can adjust all of it. We've got some great animations in here. We say, all right, this person has a question about drug interactions. Who should they ask? Should we ask him? And then you have some explanation there. Let's go back. Let's take a look at her opinion. Go back. What about her finally? Go back. So you get the idea. Now, with these being designed in Storyline, you can say, you know what, he really doesn't fit my mold. I want this to be Jin, the guy that I chose to be the host. Okay, that's fine. Delete him, get Jin in there. So you can see that there's some really neat things that we've already done all of the programming for you on that. Let me just go back and show you the activities. Oh, let me pause here. Does anybody have any questions at this point? See, we have a lot of interactions here. Some really neat stuff in Storyline, and we're always adding new things. I love the targets. So everything's already color coded. Okay, you get the idea there. So just as a recap, we've chosen a layout to get you started. We've customized the layout using stock assets and doing whatever we want to do with it. Then we chose a host, and we've done some scenarios. We've done some great learning, some interactive things so that I'm not just reading the screen, maybe listening to an audio and clicking next. We've got some interaction. Now let's do some role playing. Let's click on scenarios, storyline scenarios. And we are going to say, really what these are for is just to get your brain going. So with these scenarios, these are kind of pre-canned role playing or however you want to do. But we've got 2 people having a conversation here, and we're going to go through this. this answers the question as to why we take pictures of people facing the wrong way. It's so that you can build these conversations and kind of have this over-the-shoulder look here. So maybe this scenario doesn't have anything to do with a pharmacy tech or something like that. But that's okay because you can build your own scenarios. Let's go back to stock assets and let's go to environments. And I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to build something in the break room here. So I've got my break room here, and I'm going to put some people into it. I go back to cutout people, I put some people in it, and I just build this scene over and over again the way that I want to. So you can build your own scenarios using all of these assets. Again, these are all included. So now we've done the scenario, we've done some role playing, we've delivered some information in a very neat way, and we've built a very high quality course in a relatively short amount of time. Now let's add a little candy to the end. Let's play some games. Let's click on Storyline Games. All of these, again, are built right there in Storyline. And let's look at Card Stack. It's going to load up here. You know, one of the advantages, too, of having an eLearning Brothers membership, and you've got some cool music playing here, is that what you can do is, or really what we do for you is, as you guys know, Storyline just came out. Storyline 2 just came out. And we make sure that we keep up to date on all of the latest requirements. So when there are updates, we go back and update the games and all those things so that you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. You can just re-download the game and update it, and everything's good to go. Another great reason to keep up with the subscription. So I want to play card stack game, and you can see question 1, what's the answer to this? Again, dot story template. You can edit this any way you want. Change the background, do whatever you want to do. I think it's this one. Is that my final answer? Yes, it is. Nope, got it wrong. Answer 1, there it is, yes. Okay, you get the idea here. All of our games are SCORM compliant, so they can pass the score onto your LMS. Let's go back and show you another game real quick. Race is kind of a great game. It's a path style game, meaning you are basically trying to get from point A to point B as this loads up here. You can see version 1.5 was released the 16th of September, optimized for Storyline 2. Let's continue. I get to choose my piece. You can change these pieces to whatever you want. Put the question in here. This is correct. Great. One thing that's neat too is this is the remediation to question 1. So instead of just saying, yes, you got it right, you can say, yes, you got it right. Here's a customized answer. Perhaps more importantly is when I get it wrong, you can say, nope, you got it wrong, and here's why. You can also make this a hyperlink. So you can say, click this link to find out why you got it wrong, or to go to the online company manual or textbook or something like those. So the teaching opportunity is continued throughout the game. Try again. This is correct. Yep, got it. Okay, so you get the idea here. Just as a recap, you started out with a blank white stage. You very quickly chose a layout and customized it pretty easily. Then you chose some cutout people to be the host. We went through, we trained, we had some video cutouts when they answered correctly. We did some very cool scenarios. We built our own scenarios using our stock assets. Another thing with Storyline is if you want, we can get into Storyline skins, so put a wrapper around the player. Now, these are only available, just so you know, in Storyline 1 at this point. Storyline hasn't released the SDK for Storyline 2 yet. But you can put your player in a skin here just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And now you've published a pretty fantastic course on pharmacy techs, or for pharmacy techs. And you've done it in a record amount of time. Pretty fantastic deal for $4.99 a year. Are there any questions that I can answer for anybody? Let me switch over to that. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions, Guys, that's the webinar for today. We're right at 26 minutes. I appreciate you sticking with me through it. And just another plug for custom. If your plate is full right now and you just don't have the bandwidth for it, our custom team would love to talk to you, at least get a quote out to you and see what your thoughts are. And it really doesn't matter if you are halfway through the project or you got it sketched out on a napkin somewhere or you just need help with design and development. We would love to help out. Something else of note, we have a medical license which shows high-end medical assets. So, for example, if you need really detailed images of the brain or something like that, as you're doing this for uh, obviously medical needs, just be aware of that. It is an add-on because these are very high detailed images. We have the cardiovascular systems. That's pretty cool. So again, as with everything, you can click around and see those images. You won't be able to download them, but at least it gives you an idea of if it would be valuable to you. We've got breakdowns of ICUs. Something to know here is as you're downloading this, each one of these, let's see, let's go to, yeah, these are extremely detailed. So just something to know about. Looks like we do have a question here. I use both Moodle and WordPress. What do other people use to host their courses? That's a great question. Moodle is a great one. Really, as I'm sure you've found, the solutions are as varied as there are people. Everything from free open source along the Moodle line all the way up to paying, thousands of dollars a month, depending on the features that you need. So as far as hosting their courses, I can't give a good answer. I mean, like you said, you're already using Moodle, and that's a fantastic one. As far as an MLS goes, I know that WordPress is not an MLS. However, there may be a plugin for it. Brainshark is another MLS that comes to mind, but there are literally hundreds of MLSs out there. So what I would do is just, first of all, make a list of what your needs are for your MLS, and then start the search from there. And make sure that you find one that fits all of your needs, as opposed to being sold one that does 100 different features that you're paying for, but you really have no need for. Any other questions before we sign off here? All right. If you do think of any other questions, I invite you to go to support.elearningbrothers.com. That is our knowledge base. We have a lot of screencasts, videos, articles on how to use our templates. I also invite you to go to eLearningBrothers.com and follow our blog posts. Some great tips and tricks in there too. Thanks very much for coming to how to get the most out of your e-learning template library. I'm going to sign off right now and keep making great e-learning. Thanks a lot.